Namaste, everyone. Welcome to the Blooming Lotus Healing channel. My name is Jikara, and I'm a spiritual healing facilitator. And as you all know, if you've been following me here for a while, you know that I come here every Thursday and I bring in different practitioners and we talk about different things and teach you about different things. So I am super excited to be here to share a really interesting topic, which I, for the longest time, was a little uncomfortable because I felt like, oh my gosh, it's kind of scary. And like, what is this mediumship thing? So I'm super excited to talk about this today. And happy full moon, everyone. We are in the full moon on Libra, and oh my gosh, are you feeling the energies? I know I've been feeling the energies, and it's been really, really intense. And so today is a little different. I know that I typically just bring in my guests, but I wanted to I pulled some cards for the collective today, and I kind of wanted to share the cards that came up. So we had the card I pulled from the Monology deck, and the card of Taurus in New Moon came up, and it's basically, telling us, a lot of us have been working towards our prosperity, towards expanding our wallets, and so it's been kind of like a focus for a lot of people, and so in this full moon, I feel like this is going to be some of the things that are not working for us are going to be shown or basically seen a little clearer for us. So like pay attention to that, take a moment to journal and just really ground into that space of understanding where we are, because I'm including myself, where we are in this journey and what can we do better and how we can expand. The other thing that came up for me as I was doing the reading is that this full moon is all about connecting to our relationships and how we're networking, and how we want to align with the people that are aligned with the work that we want to do. So paying attention to that as well. And so, we are being invited by spirit to have faith in our dreams and to remember that all of our dreams come to us because they're meant to be grounded by us. So just the friendly reminder by spirit. And this is a really huge time for healing. And I know this has been showing up for me a lot in a lot of the groups that I've been part of. And the Shakti energy is coming in to help us really burn through those energies. So I want to invite you to really sit with with all of the emotional upheaval that may have showed up for you throughout this week in regards to relationships. That's been showing up a lot in my readings this week. And so I kind of wanted to bring that up for you so that you can really ground into the energies and give yourself permission to give yourself and others compassion and try to move through the wounding, move through the energies with grace and love. So, but yeah, that's what I have here, and I felt like this message needed to be shared, so that's the reason why I shared it here. And hi, everyone. Hi, Gigi. Hi, Lydia, Peggy, Dawn, Marcia. So happy to have you here. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in Maurice Sinclair, who is a psychic medium and healer. And I feel like he doesn't really fit in a box, but it's fine. If this is your first time, connecting to him, I've had him in the past here on live streams with talking about different things that are related to shamanism. And today is a little different, but I feel it's important to talk about this because I did attend a mediumship circle of his, and it was so healing for me to be witnessed in such a safe space by him and those who are part of his circle. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring him. I'm not going to talk anymore and bring in my wonderful friend here.
Hello.
Hi, Maurice.
Hey.
Welcome back. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm drinking some water because, I've been talking so much, but I kind of wanted to open up the conversation about mediumship, and because, I attended that group, which I am planning to attend again. And it was so healing for me because I've had personally, had some, let's say less than ideal experiences where I received messages and I didn't have like a mentor or anyone to kind of guide me through that. And so for me, it was kind of like there was this big wounding in regards to what mediumship was about, and like sometimes it felt kind of scary. And I'm sure that if it felt scary for me, I'm sure it feels scary for a lot of people out there. It's like, oh, talking to dead people, or like, or like, all this stuff coming, like I don't see it, and like, oh, it has to be scary. And when I attended your circle, it was just so not scary at all, and so beautiful and so amazing. And I kind of wanted to, I guess, open the space to ask you, how did you get started in that journey of mediumship, and recognizing that you were actually, in that mediumship space? Okay,
I'm sorry.
I
It
think
cut out.
we
I'm sorry.
lost him for a minute.
Yeah, I'm
It's
so
all good.
sorry. You said like I think the question was, how did I get into mediumship?
Yes, like how do you get started into mediumship, and how do you recognize that that's what you were in fact doing?
So okay, this goes back to 2019. So 2019, I was getting to the point where, like in my spiritual practice, I wasn't. This is before I was doing like active spiritual work for people. I was like, okay, I need to get a grip on these gifts. Like I don't know what's happening, like I had this strong pull that I needed to practice with other people. So like I got on the computer, I was literally like psychic development circles. This is what I was told to search out, and what popped up that was within my schedule at the time was a mediumship circle. And at the time, I had no distinction about what mediumship was. It just came up under psychic, so I was like, oh, psychic, cool. So like I jumped in, and I started that mediumship circle, and I realized right away that, oh, I can do this. Like the first time I was doing it, I snapped right into it. And that told me, A, oh, this is what mediumship is. This is like a specific thing. And then B, oh, I have been doing this the entire time. So in other words, what mediumship did for me was put into, like, give framework to what had been happening through me for my entire life. So for example, from childhood, all throughout adolescence and into adulthood, like people would ask me things, and like there'd be times where they'd ask me things, and then I just kind of like words would come out, and it'd kind of be like I wasn't there, like I'm to the point where like I kind of be like I might say like a few paragraphs of words, and then kind of be like, what I say, like can you tell me what I said? Like because that's like I wouldn't be there, and I didn't know what that was. I just thought like I don't know, it was normal to me. But now realizing what was happening back then is that there were beings and other people in spirit speaking through me to these people who asked me. So I've been a medium my entire life, but it wasn't until 2019 that I like actually gained awareness, A, that it was happening, and B, to like I gained discernment. Like, okay, like this is who's talking. This is what they're saying. This is how they look. This is how they feel. So yeah, this is how I actively got into mediumship. But yeah, I'd been doing it forever.
Yeah, that's incredible. And, and to know that, so I wanted to ask you, did you, like, when you realized that this was happening, did you seek support outside to try to get you more grounded into, like maybe a technique, or did you just develop intuitively your own way to connect with spirits and spirit guides and loved ones?
So it was a mediumship circle. So like I attended that mediumship. So after that, like I attended that mediumship circle religiously. Like I was doing it like at one point like 4 times a week, because I knew like once
Wow.
I did it, I was like, oh, I need to be doing this. That became my training. Like just doing
Okay.
mediumship circles, like sitting with other mediums and practicing with other mediums online, like because that also was what fit my schedule at the time. I couldn't go in person, even though it's like the teacher is close, and it was that developed like all the fine tuning, and really more than like, yes, fine tuning, but also like the most important part for me was like making friends with the ego, like letting the ego know like, hey, this is actually happening. Because the ego wants to be like, I don't know, like it wants to question things, but like it was like proving over and over again that I'm receiving information that I couldn't possibly know, until finally the ego was like, okay, like it's happening. And then after that, not even after that, because like would continue to do the mediumship circles, and then every maybe like 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes like a month, I'll go back to that circle and just do it just to do it. You know, it's nice to like take part in someone else's circle. And but so that was like end of 2019, like yeah, towards the end of 2019, and then 2020 happened, and it was like April 2020, around that time, so some months like after I started doing it in the circles, that I created my Instagram. The express purpose of the Instagram at first was to do free mediumship readings, because I felt I was like, okay, I need to expand. I need to just do this for as many people as I can. Like I can't think of, like, there's no money, like that's not a thing. Like I need to just do this. And it was like I probably did around like I always say like probably close to like a couple hundred
Wow.
readings, like just hitting it like over and over and over
Yes.
again, and like, and that became my training. Like that, like I gained so much about like how to interact with the non-physical beings, how to relay the information to the people who are sitting. Like that was my training, I think. So like I really went into like a cave kind of my own training regimen.
Wow, that's incredible. And I love, we kind of have some parallels in our journey when it comes down to connecting to our gifts. One of the things that I did once I learned SRT, I was doing so many clearings, not only for myself, I was clearing myself.
Mm,
Like I knew I was, it's almost like you're on a mission, right? And you're just
yeah,
like, I gotta do this and I'm gonna get it down packed. And it is a skill, right? It's almost like a muscle, right? That you have to develop. And so I feel that a lot of times when people see a medium, they think, oh well, this was a gift that they always had from since they were a kid, and which is the case for you as well, and for many people. But I think the one thing that they don't realize is that it took a lot of practice and a lot of skill set training to get to the point where where they're out there already like doing readings for others. And it
right,
is a skill set. And so and it's so beautiful. It's basically spiritual development, right? It's just all about that spiritual development. And like and doing that, like if you think about it, also even with the shamans, they typically will develop, that when you're a student under a shaman, you're basically developing your skills so that whenever you're sent out to the world, then you're basically doing your thing and you're able to do those deep journeys and all that. And so it does take some practice. And I think that it's also really fun. It's really fun to see how deep you can go as well. And I kind of wanted to zero in on something, because when we did the circle, and you said something about really creating like a little bit of a space of like just having like an actual space where you go in your mind's eye to be able to connect. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
yeah. So for me, it's helpful to build framework. So my issue was like in the past, it was that like I would receive information from like all different angles and through different mediums, like the eyes, ears, mouth. But my issue was discernment. So I had the raw potential to like, like receive and take it in, but in order to like make it practical, like I needed framework. So this is something that I learned in the mediumship circle, actually. So like my mediumship teacher, she the first thing that she did was give me a like a meditation, like a walking meditation. Because like at first, because the first day I did it, I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like how do I start? Like what? And she's like,
Right.
okay, well. And she did. I don't remember the exact meditation she used. I think she probably used a house. Like you hear me use a house a lot, and like that's where that idea came from. But she had me like walk into like through a field. It's like nighttime, I think, and then like I walk into a house, and then I walk into a room, and I meet a person's spirit there. What that does for me, and what I find that does for other people, is that it helps to like create like a stencil in a box, but also like a frame of reference for the information. So rather than trying to just receive it raw and trying to make sense of it, now there's a house, there's a couch. So now like even in terms of like size and shape and color, now you have this reference point. So like you're seeing a couch, and then now you can see a person walk and sit down on that couch, and now it makes sense. Now you can be like, okay, so I am seeing a person here. They look like a man. They have brown hair. Do you know what I mean? Like that. Now you can actually like. I hope I'm articulating that in a way that makes sense. Like,
Yes, it makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, it gives. It's like putting it's giving paint and easel to be put on. You know. Yeah.
That's powerful. And yeah, and I think that that's really beautiful because it gives you that framework, right? Where you can just be, and that's what you did for me, right? You did take me to that house.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, everyone's house is going to be different, right? It's going to have a different setting, and my house had a specific setting. And so, but it was really cool to be able to go in there and be able to have a space so that way I could invite someone in. And it made it feel safe too. I feel like the house itself, like because I went to the living room space, and so in the living room space of the house, if you think about it, when you're in the living room, you're comfy in the couch, you're talking, you're having coffee, you're just interacting with someone. So it's like kind of like a visitor, right? So it's like it felt very comfortable, and it didn't feel so scary, and then like it basically like removed all fear out of my heart around mediumship, because I was under, I don't know, I guess I was under the impression that it had to be scary, and I was going to be like just seeing like scary things for whatever reason. Like that was my mindset. And which now that I go back and think about it, I was like, it's funny that that I was feeling like that. But it really did make it so comfortable to have that framework, and if again, it felt so safe. And also being in that witnessing of like just being received, I think that's also so important. Like that aspect of the mediumship circle was really something that I loved, and I was so grateful for, because I was able to just open up and share something and not feel like, oh my gosh, I'm being judged. You know what I mean? Like, oh, am I talking crazy or anything? Like it wasn't like that at all. And so it was very, very cool. And so I kind of want to invite everyone right now, if you're watching, if you have any questions about mediumship, if you're interested in attending a mediumship circle, y'all need to, definitely consider attending Maurice's circles. He typically promotes them on his Instagram, and they're kind of like different days, so you have to like keep up because he puts it on his stories. But you want to make sure that you go into his Instagram and check him out. But if you have any questions for him about mediumship right now, please let us know in the comments. If you have any specific comments or specific questions about mediumship, or maybe you're curious about something, maybe you've had an experience yourself that you want to know if that was something that was related to mediumship, like any question basically that you have. Okay, someone is asking the name of your circle, Moonstruck.
The name of my circle? I guess I don't even have a name. It's just I just call it the mediumship circle. Yeah, I guess I didn't come up with like a group name for it, but maybe I should. I don't know. I never even considered that.
Yeah. So, oh, it's so funny. Somebody was saying, like, I was thinking Sixth Sense. Yeah, I guess I was kind of thinking Sixth Sense of Vintage Vanity was saying that.
Yeah,
That was probably what I was thinking when I was thinking about medium. She was like, I see dead people, and like all scary and stuff.
It's so funny because I didn't have the reference. Like even seeing the word mediumship when I joined the circle, I didn't know what it was. So I'm thinking back now, if I made that connection even to the Sixth Sense in mediumship, I might have felt the same way as you did, Jikara, and like most other people. But I just didn't have the reference. I was just like, I gotta solve for this thing. Like especially for me, I was working behind the bar at a strip club for like 2 years while these gifts are like really like, so like to be in the juxtaposition of like this very low vibrational place and then like this very high vibrational things happening. A, it was like I was being torn in half, and B, the things that I would be perceiving while in that workspace, I was like, I can't, like I need somebody or something to like help me sort this out. So like it's funny because looking back, I dreaded having to work like at the time. It's so funny. Like just a side note, like a short side note. I started working there because I could not find work. Like I needed a job, and a friend, like he landed this excellent job and he wanted to give 2 days away to somebody, and like he just like brought me in, and I was like, okay. And like I dreaded it, I hated it. I never even been to a strip club, so like the culture shock even for me was like immense. Long story short, like I ended up kind of like really kind of finessing it, like making like a lot of like really good friends, and like kind of like clicking it. I think me being the type of person I am, being in that space, they had never seen that before. They had never like felt that before. So I was like really welcomed and like kind of cherished. But also like
Yes.
towards the end, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I like like the way that my vibration is like increasing in this space that's like meant to intentionally be low vibrational, I'm being torn in half. I was led there by my, oh, I guess this is mediumship related. My great grandmother, I realize, is, and in spirit, is who led me there, because I found out that the owner of that club, she knew my great grandmother. Like one day we were talking. Yeah, it
Wow.
was crazy. It was crazy. Like with like, these weird, really weird like circles. She was a bank teller at the bank that my great grandmother, used to go to, and she would only go to her because she only trusted her, and she would like
Wow.
walk out if she wasn't there. So like, yeah, my great grandmother like led me straight to this place. I needed to gain things. Like the type of person I am, like I think I needed to experience that side of humanity to be able to fully like step into my work. You know,
Yeah.
I
I mean
learned a lot.
that I mean that's incredible. Like the fact that there's that connection. Like wow, Maurice. Like talk about ancestors like taking care of you. Like that's incredible. That I mean that's I mean you cannot make this stuff up, right? Like it's so
No.
mind blowing when we have these confirmations, and that is so beautiful. And so there's some questions coming in about your mediumship circle that I kind of wanted to make sure that we clarify about. So Moonstruck is asking if this circle is on Facebook, or if not, where does it meet?
It's on Zoom. So like I have some dates listed on my Instagram currently, but like I'm actually just about to change those because I'm thinking those days might not work for people. Actually, you know what? While everyone's here, this might be good. The current days I have listed, and like I kind of was feeling might not work for many people, but maybe they will now that I have people here. The current days were Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern time, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And I found that like that might not work that well for some people's schedules, but I'm curious if anyone wants to give any feedback while they're like in the
Yeah.
audience, if that's like if those times work. If not, like I have some other times that I'm playing with.
Yeah, because that was one of the things that Maurice told me one day we were talking. He said that he loves doing circles. Like this is like his jam, y'all. It really is.
Yeah,
So he is like so amazing about it. So he's like, I'm just gonna move it to whenever is good for people. I know for me, like I most likely would definitely want. And I think I told you this on the Sunday ones because they're a
mm,
little easier. Mondays, typically I'm live on Instagram, so it would be hard for me to make it on the Mondays.
yeah,
But yeah, so that's why I was like, well, Sundays, it's like I think I told you, and I was kind of like, I was just making fun, right? But it's like, caring for your spiritual health, like doing something that fills you up, right? And
right.
and it was really fulfilling for me. I mean, particularly for me. I don't know for anyone else, but for me, it felt like that. So it's kind of like Sunday church.
Yeah, yeah.
um
Okay.
with but again it's not church by any means, but you know what I mean, like it
No,
felt
but
like
it
serving like
is
that.
kind of it's
Yeah,
kind of
it
like
is.
that same
Yeah,
feel. You know, like
yeah, it
I
is
know
the
exactly
same
what you
feel,
mean.
but it's not the same setting. That's what I
Right.
it's not the same setting at all. But
It's on
it's
Zoom, by the way, Moonstruck. I don't know if I answered that question.
oh yeah, Zoom. So just so you know, when Christine is on Zoom. And so Gigi was saying that she's scared to share her gifts because she turned them off because her mom told her that it was evil, always told her
Hmm.
that it was evil growing up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how do you move through that, through that fear of feeling like it's evil?
In my experience, because I was never, I never had that. I was never scared into the opposite way. Though mine was never nurtured, I was never told that it was bad or wrong. So that's kind of like a different scar. The only way that I feel that you can move through that is to like actively know that that's not the case. That she was speaking out of a place of fear, and then practicing it, because the only way that you can really truly internalize that it is okay and that it is safe and that it isn't scary is to do it, to experience it. That's the only way. Because once you experience it, it's like, oh, that's what that is. There's no set of words that I can say to you to like take that away from you. Like you you have to kind of have the courage to jump in.
And I have to agree. I have to agree with Maurice, because I firsthand experienced the shift within myself when I was doing it. And like, again, like at the end, I was like so grateful. I was like, this was so healing for me. And I was just like, kept thanking Maurice for creating the space, because it was like just the act of doing it was just so good. Like I was able to like, drop into it. So I would say, Gigi, I would say attend the circle, and like, Maurice was so kind that he walked me through a meditation so I could connect as well. So if you need that support, you can just let him know, and then he will walk you through a meditation and that visualization. And one thing that I did too was to close my eyes to try to help me see better. And so while he was walking me through that meditation, and I just kind of kept my eyes closed and try to keep my eyes closed so I could just connect to what was coming through. And I'm telling you, it's not scary at all. Like it really isn't. But the only way that you will know that is by actually going through it and actually attending a circle and practicing it.
And there's one other thing about that, because like the other end of that is that not only is it incredible to experience, it also, like you say, Jikara, like it actually is healing, because that is how you solve for and dissolve that blockage that you have in there that was placed there by your elders or your mother. Like you'll feel that kind of dissolve away, that thing that's blocking you from being able to tap into your gifts. It really, to me anyway, like especially for me, like that was a healing thing, because even for me, just kind of going back, like my first kind of experience with a non-physical like entity, or the first thing that I remember anyway, was actually very traumatic for me, and that was the moment that I shut my gifts off. As a matter of fact, the months following that, immediately following that, that's when I started needing glasses. I actually have very like poor eyesight. It's like I kind of blinded myself, like even physically
Wow.
as a child, because I super didn't want to see. And same thing, like it wasn't that like I was told I was evil, but like I saw these things in my room, and when I tried to like, hey, like this is what happened, like I was met with like rage and anger, because I was like screaming in the middle of the night. So like that
Oh,
that told me like, oh, I'm not safe to express myself about these things. Like I'm not safe, so like I'm the problem. Then you know what I mean? So like,
yeah.
and so for me, like when I just, you're making me think back, I didn't really make this connection, but like with the first times that I was doing mediumship, that is something that dissolved away for me too, that trauma of kind of feeling like completely rejected for something that's just a part of me. Because the
Yeah.
thing is that, and what you're healing is like that this, you have gifts. That's not something that was handed to you. That's something that is a part of you. And if you're not embracing those gifts, you're not embracing a part of yourself, which means you are
Mm.
dishonoring an aspect of yourself. And if you're dishonoring an aspect of yourself, you can expect that to play out in your 3D life in multiple ways. And when you get rid of that, yeah, things just open up. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Maurice, you just gave me a truth bomb right now. Seriously, I love what you just said. That is so true. I didn't think about it that way. But you're right. If we are denying ourselves the opportunity to connect to our gifts, we are denying ourselves a piece of us.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was powerful. So Gigi, I hope you take that with so much love in your heart and give yourself permission to attend one of the circles. And I'm telling you, if you're gonna attend any circle, I think Maurice's circle are, there really are, like, I mean, honestly, like it's so safe. It's safe. Like you'll be safe. Like don't you worry, girl. Like he got you. Okay. So yeah. I'm gonna move on to a different question here, Maureen. So people are very curious
Hmm.
about different things. So Vintage Vanity is asking, do you ever get any angry messages from spirit around people that is embarrassing to share with the person you're reading for? That's an interesting question. I've
Do
never
I have
had
any
that. Never
angry
thought about that.
messages? This is like a dense question with like kind of multiple parts. Do you ever get angry messages from spirit around people that is embarrassed? So angry messages, and then around people that is embarrassing to share. So then you're also asking about how I feel about it. Um, It's never okay. So I'll kind of work backwards. Nothing is ever embarrassing to me because in order to even do mediumship, you have to put your ego aside. Embarrassment comes from the ego. Like your ego is the thing that decides, hey, something is embarrassing, or based off of some past thing that's happened. In order for it to flow through, in order for it to actually work, you have to you can't be upfront like that because it won't come through. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not your ego that's transmitting the messages outwards. It's like the higher part of yourself. So in other words, that would also translate as soon as you care about being right or wrong, you can expect your mediumship to be crap. Like
Mm,
this is like one of the things that I had to really gain through just doing it over and over again was letting go of like I hope I'm right. I hope I'm right. Because as soon as you snap into that, yeah, it's gonna be crap. It's you can just stop. Don't even try. Because it's gonna be difficult to transmit a pure message. So I guess to answer the embarrassment piece, not anymore. Like I'm never embarrassed anymore because I know that whatever's coming through me isn't me. Because embarrassment, think about it. You can only be embarrassed if what you're saying or doing is you. You know what I mean? You trip, then you feel embarrassed. But if what's coming through you is not you, you're just the transmitter of the information. What's to be embarrassed about? You're just a
right,
messenger. You know what I mean?
right.
So that piece, and but like I will say that did take some work. It wasn't immediate for me. Like it did take a little bit of time, like doing it to like disconnect from what's coming through and just allow it to happen. Um, angry messages. No, not angry. The only spirits that will come in angry would have to they'd have to match your vibration. So in other words, I suppose that if I tried to do mediumship in an angry state, I might be more apt to like attract in an angry spirit. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So that also kind of implies that you shouldn't really be doing this stuff unless you feel good. Like you shouldn't like if you're in like an emotionally distraught state, try not to do this type of stuff because what you get will like you'll be attracting that stuff and you'll be acting as a magnet to that. Um, I have had people express themselves openly about things that they wish they did differently. I've never experienced someone who's passed and is like blaming somebody for whatever it is, or like I'm angry about this. That's never happened to me. I've had people come forth and like express their sorrow, their disdain, their regret, but never like never have I had a spirit come through and be like, I gotta say that I'm angry at this person for that's never happened to me. Um, around people, some from spirit around people. So I guess that kind of answers that because maybe in the context, so you're asking in the setting of like a mediumship circle or like a group reading. No, so to answer that question as well, like no, that's never happened to me either. It's not to say that it'll be all like light and love for the most part, because I guess I should mention this too. So non-physical people who've passed away, how I experienced it, and I know and there's another thing I'm going to say that people might disagree with, because even my mediumship teacher does not agree with what I'm saying. Um, there are different kind of planes of existence. So like most people, they'll pass away, they'll pass all the way on, and they've done the life review, they gained everything that they needed to gain from this life and all the lessons, and they're coming forth basically in their higher self form. They'll usually appear as their human self, the most recognizable human self, but essentially who you're talking to is like now their disembodied higher self. But there are some people that do get bound to earth, and like for whatever reason, whether out of fear or trauma or something, that's what people might call like ghosts, for example. I don't really use that word, but like it's a spirit that hasn't passed all the way on yet. Like either they're still solving for things, or they've chosen, or like there's a bunch of different reasons why they might hang around. And those beings are the types that will be more apt to be like more full of emotion and
mm,
sorrow, and like still like still
mm.
getting through it, and even might be angry. But I've never had a spirit be like relay angry messages through me, if that makes sense. I hope
Like
that
you
all
may
makes sense. That
feel
was a lot of
that.
words.
So so what you're saying is that you might feel that they are in that energy, but they are not necessarily relaying any messages about that energy. You just feel that energy.
Right.
That's kind of interesting that you're saying that, because in the SRT world, we we call those discarnates, right? That discarnates are those who are basically, I like to call those just lost souls.
Hmm.
And that's just my perspective. Of course, everyone has a different perspective. I just like to call them lost souls that are still hurting, still connected, or like connected to things that happen on this earth that they haven't been able to move through. And so that's why they're still, so when that's why when we connect to those to their energy, we can feel the emotional charge, the negative emotional charge of them, because they're still holding on to that emotional charge. Now, let me just explain what emotional charge is. And I know, and I don't know if you agree with me on this or not, Maurice, but to me, emotional charge is energy. Okay. It's just energy in motion. Okay.
Right.
So it's energy that is moving. So emotion is basically going to be in different colors of the spectrum of the rainbow, let's just say. And so, or in the grayscale, of whatever we want to call it. So to me, those who are in that discarnate, or the lost souls that would be basically in that energy, would be more towards, let's say, the colors that are in the space that are more in the negative. And I really don't like to say negative, positive, good, bad, but for this specific conversation, I guess I would say that's where they exist. That's the emotional state, the energy state that they exist in.
Right.
So I don't know.
No,
do you
I
agree with that?
completely agree.
Does that resonate with you? Okay.
Completely
I wasn't
agree.
sure.
No. Like, I
Yeah.
wholeheartedly agree.
So we're in the same page. Okay.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure.
I love that. And I love what you're saying about, you said something really interesting about, the souls kind of coming in and sharing a message, but they're sharing their message based on whatever energy they're in. Right. So like, but that doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to go after a person or try to attack. I think that it's more about like, oh, I guess like, the best way that I can think about is like, if I received an energy, and I have felt that energy of, especially when I do ancestral clearings, I've felt that energy. And a lot of times they're not really trying to direct that energy at anyone. They're just in that energy. If that makes any sense, what I'm saying.
Exactly. That's
So
exactly.
that's just that they're just in it, and that's it.
I agree
So
completely. And like, so like, if you bring up a really good point, because mediumship, I guess I should say this too, like, because it took me a little while to understand mediumship, just like Reiki or any other, it's a healing modality. It's not for show. It's not to like, oh, look what I can do. It's actually meant to provide healing. And what people typically associate that healing to is the person that is living, who like might need closure or that kind of thing. But what I realize over the years is that like it's equally as healing oftentimes for the spirit. So oftentimes there's things that the spirit hasn't gotten to say or express, and that's keeping them stuck. And sometimes it takes them coming into a space like that, being invited into a safe space like that, to just express themselves and just to emote and freely feel, like you say, not directing it at anybody, but being allowed to feel. Because a lot of times people are either persecuted or shunned or whatever for feeling emotions, for feeling feelings, and allowing them just to come in and just to feel freely actually ends up oftentimes helping them pass all the way on if they're trapped in a certain place, or you know what I mean. So it's a healing modality for both people in spirit and in physical.
That's so powerful. That's so powerful, Maurice. I'm so excited that that we are having this conversation, because it's just so amazing that it really gives a different perspective, right, about the spirit world, and like and spiritual beings, and and our loved ones, right? And you're right. Receiving a mediumship, for me, it's been very healing. I've received mediumship, and I've been able to get closure with my dad, for example. Like in life, I couldn't really connect with him, but then he came through, and that was so healing for me. And I cried like a baby in the session, you know what I mean? But it was just so good. And I know that for him, it was also healing. So it was just, it was like, it really is, it does goes ways, both ways. And I can see what you're talking about. So that's so beautiful. We got more questions coming. So Peggy said that she signed up for the Sunday and she's excited but scared. How do you face the fear of failure?
I mean, you just face it. There's no how else can you face failure without actually following through. You can't conceptualize potential failure. You can't. The only thing that you can do is walk through it. But I will say, not only will you not fail, because okay, like the four things come to my mind at once. So first of all, if you found me, you can already do this. I find that only people that can do this, no matter how they see themselves, no matter what they think they can or can't do, already have the ability to do mediumship without fail. Every person that's ever come to me ever and ever been drawn to me can already do this. So let me assure you that if you've reached out to me already, Peggy, which I remember speaking to you, yeah, don't worry. I'll show you what you can do. I'll show you. Don't worry about it. Like I'll guide you. It's easy. But also, yeah, I'm just going to condense this and just say the only way that you can solve for the fear of failure is to do the thing and show yourself that you didn't fail. That's all I can say.
That's powerful. Peggy, I'm not worried about you. I know I personally know Peggy, and I know she's going to be amazing, and she's going to be. So I personally told her about your circle a couple of times already. So I'm happy that she signed up.
Nice.
So I'm super excited to see that develop. And then Vanita is saying, I see so much in meditations and journeys. It's about trusting what I see. Also, please share about what we should ask questions to inquire and go deeper into what we are seeing, etc.
So with mediumship, it's very similar to meditation. In your meditations and your journeys, think to yourself, how much are you asking? Not much, I'm positive. Yet you're receiving a whole lot. What dictates how much you receive and how much you get is how open you are to receiving. So in other words, if you're in a state of asking questions and firing off questions, you are not in a state of receiving. You will receive very little. First of all. Second, when it comes to specific questions, it helps to first, like anything else, especially in meditation, entering it with intention. So for example, before you drop into mediumship, you can request that you, like, I am intending to bring in a person in spirit for fill in the blank, bring in information that's recognizable, understandable, and that the person needs. Like however you want to, that intention is enough. There's no requirement. That's a human construct that you must ask questions to receive. If they're coming in, they've chosen to come in. You can't control who comes in, by the way. We have no control who comes in. It's purely up to them because they have free will just like us because they're still souls. And if they're coming in by free will, they clearly have things to express and they clearly have things to say. Now, what will happen sometimes is that they'll come in and you're like, I'm not getting anything. I'm not hearing anything. It's like, no, it's not that. It's you that needs to be more open because there are many times where it's not shared in the ways that we assume that it's going to be shared. We assume we're going to see. We assume we're going to hear. And oftentimes, almost as if to like prove a point and almost as if to like also help us expand past our limitations, they'll give it to us in a way that we wouldn't have even expected. So it takes being completely open and just allowing whatever it is, like not expecting to receive it in a certain way, just like, like kind of like getting like real quiet and be like, and just assessing yourself from the inside, like, okay, so I'm feeling a sensation in my chest, like starting from like, and just kind of unraveling it slowly. And then you'll find that becomes the evidence. So the other thing that I'll always preach when it comes to mediumship is that like, just say whatever is happening. Like, don't try to judge it. Don't pinch stuff off like, oh, I think that's ridiculous. No, whatever you're seeing, feeling, hearing, smelling, tasting, just say it because you'll find that becomes the most potent and like compelling evidence when it comes to a mediumship reading. The things you would least expect. I'm seeing a pink dragon, and you will be surprised how many people will be like, "Oh my God, how could you know that?" It's like, I don't know. Like I didn't know. Like I just told you what I saw. And this for me, this is like when I'm totally disconnected, when I have no idea what I'm saying, and I'm just saying it. This is when I have the most potent mediumship readings. Yeah. So,
That's so
and then
powerful.
the kind of this, just to give you just to satisfy the question, because I know you want to, you're probably like me in that, like, you have like kind of an analytical side that wants to like ask specific things. What do you want to say? Like, start there,
Mm.
because like once you put it in their court, like you're really opening it up and like allowing them to like just give whatever, like there's going to be things that you can think of that in the moment, like, okay, what's your hair color, how old are you, like you can ask those questions, but you probably be pretty disappointed at how many times they don't answer you, because they're like, stop, like, let me talk, let me say what I want to say, and you know what I mean. So yeah.
That's so powerful. And oh my gosh, that is true. We gotta listen, right? We gotta listen. That's a message I've received so many times from spirits. Like, stop talking, just let me, like, just receive me, like, get in that space of receiving. And Vanita had a follow-up question that she posted right while you were talking, and
Mhm.
she says, please share, is channeling the same as part of mediumship? And that's actually a really good question.
So the word channeling, to me, can branch off into many different things. So like I feel like maybe you can put channeling up here, but like all spiritual work is channeling. Do you know what I mean? All spiritual work is channeling. Like, because like channeling to me is bringing in energy, information into the body, transmitting it outwards. This can look like
Mm,
trance mediumship. This can
mm.
look like Reiki. This could look like, you know what I mean? Yes, it could look like mediumship. So yes, to answer your question, it's a type. Mediumship is a type of channeling, rather.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love what you just said, because that listen, I was having a conversation with a Reiki practitioner a little while ago, and we were talking about the whole channeling thing, and like, like, am I really channeling? And that was exactly, I mean, not word for word what you said, but kind of like in the same context of what you, like, the same essence of what you were saying right now. Yes, that we are all channeling something. It's just like, it's just going to look differently, right, for everyone. So yeah, you can call yourself, a channel, in a medium, or however, whatever, whatever word makes you feel good, right? Like, I feel like that's really up to you. I'm getting a lot of
Exactly.
Sundays, by the way, a lot of people saying Sundays for,
Okay. Okay.
for
So
the
I'll keep
mediumship
Sundays then.
circles. um and
I'll keep
um
Sunday.
and then Vanita's like, well, don't do Monday because it's Jakara's live. No, but it's okay.
Oh, you do have a live on Monday. Okay. Oh, it was
Yeah,
Monday
no,
at 7 though. When you do your live?
I do it at 7.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay. Okay, so maybe I'll cancel Monday. I was thinking about canceling Mondays anyway, because not a lot of people are showing
No,
up for Mondays,
I
so
don't
it's
want you to
easy.
cancel I don't want you to cancel your circles. I was just saying, I just thought it was funny that she said that, Vanita
Or
said that.
rather, move the day. Like, no, you don't understand. Like yesterday, I was like sitting outside of Whole Foods, like, I think I got to change these days around. Like I started writing different days. So like it's not that it's not just you all your responses. It's that like I'm like I've already been thinking that. So I'm
Okay.
I'm either gonna switch Mondays or I might just drop to 2 days maybe. I don't know. But like Mondays, I think I don't like Mondays anymore myself. So I'm not gonna do them on Mondays.
See, and I
Oh
love Monday, and I love my Monday live. So there you
yeah.
go. So it works.
Yeah, exactly. It works. So I guess I'll kind of announce that. I'll put up another thing, like on Instagram. I'll take the other one down and put up another thing so no one gets confused. One quick thing I wanted to say though about mediumship, because like when we say this word mediumship, like it's kind of implied that we're talking about evidential mediumship. And evidential mediumship, because like mediumship is divided into like different types. So like evidential
Oh
mediumship
wow.
is essentially what we're talking about, where you drop in and you're still present, and you're like, okay, I am feeling this, I'm seeing this person is saying this, da 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 da. Like that's evidential mediumship, because you're receiving evidence and giving it to the sitter so they can now identify who this person or being might be. And also, just want to be clear that mediumship for me anyway, I know again many other mediums will disagree, but for me mediumship is not limited to just humans. You like, I get a lot
Mm.
of guides, a lot of animals, so like this is something that happens as well in my mediumship readings. But then there's also trance mediumship, and this is something else that I practice. I don't offer it to people. It's something that I'm kind of like doing with my, actually you all might know her because you watch this, both Hannah and Dawn. We're in our own personal circle, just in our own development group, just kind of like allowing our gifts to expand. um and trance mediumship is like more like what most people associate with the word channeling. You know what I mean? It's like
Mm.
it's like much deeper. You sink much further back, and you allow beings to come forth and both speak, express, heal, radiate through your body. And this is when you get
Mm.
people who are tranced out speaking in different, like in a different tone, in different languages and things. This is trance mediumship. And it's like combining the aspect of getting into the trance state with mediumship. So that's trance mediumship. But there's also physical mediumship. So physical mediumship is like the kind of like the pinnacle, kind of like the end point where spirit is creating physical anomaly through your body. So like
Wow.
that everyone, so like for example, if someone's doing like a physical mediumship demonstration, everyone in the room is going to see the same thing in the middle of the room just like appear and happen, banging on the walls and things like that, tables moving. That's physical mediumship. That's like when spirit is so strongly coming through you that it can now like use your body to have an effect on the 3D physical world. So yeah, but for the sake of what we're talking about here, we're really talking about evidential mediumship. I just realized I kept saying the word mediumship, but there's like different aspects to it.
I love that you clarified that, because I did not know that there were all these different aspects or categories of mediumship. So thank you so much for sharing that. Actually, I think it goes so well with what we're talking about today, and having that understanding, I feel it's important, because then we know, at least we know we can having I feel like having that category answers a lot of questions. For I mean, especially with what Vanita asked about, the channeling part, that answers a lot of questions in regards to what we perceived in the past on mediumship, which in channeling, I have, I've seen channels that do what you were saying, which I did not know that it was called trance mediumship, where they allow other beings to speak through them. So that's really incredible. And again, all of these are skills that we develop, right? And then also, of course, in safe spaces, we can develop and be able to express. Now, one thing that I wanted to add here, someone else is asking, her name is Amy, and so she's she put it in two messages, so I'm gonna tell you the what she said, so you understand. So she's saying that she had a tarot reader tell her that her spirit guides speak to her using her voice, because they didn't want to for her to panic or worry that she was hearing voices.
Mm.
So she is struggling with identifying what are her guides trying to tell her, and or identify what they're telling her, so that she's trying to figure that out. So how can she? I feel like you would benefit from a circle, Amy. I don't know why, but I think you would benefit
Yeah,
from that.
absolutely. So first of all, like yes, that is a thing. Especially if you're clairaudient, which it sounds like you are, they oftentimes will begin with using your voice to transmit the messages, which can be kind of confusing because you're like, am I just thinking this? The discernment piece comes with, it's kind of the similar muscle. And I understand why you're saying that, Jikara, like why she might benefit from this, because like it's like working that muscle, or rather maybe loosening that muscle of the ego wanting to make sense of things and needing to try to needing to want to be right. Because once you're in that pure receiving space, you get that pure ping of a feeling like, oh, this isn't me. And do you know what I mean? It's like it won't matter what it sounds like, because that's the ego that's fixating on like what your voice sounds like and what it sounds like in your head. It's what matters is what it feels like, not what it sounds like. And if you can really tune into like so for example, if you ask a specific question and you receive the answer and you're confused about whether it's you answering your own question or it's actually you're actually receiving it, it's what you feel from the answer that matters. It's kind of like, I hope that makes sense, but because
That
it
makes
sounds
so
kind
much
of like
sense.
ethereal and woo woo, but like this is the best way that I can explain it to you. When you're talking to yourself in your head, it doesn't feel like advice. It has a very different feel. They're very different texture. And if you can discern that, like just talk to yourself in your head right now and like, okay, that's what that feels like. And then the times when you're actually receiving these things that you're unsure of, I'm going to tell you that like, I'm sure 99%, if not all the times that you're confused about it, it's just that you're receiving the information. Like the confusion itself, you can kind of take as like confirmation that it's happening.
Yeah, that's powerful. And I think you're right about, like, I really feel into what you're saying about the feeling. It does feel different when it's a guide, or it's a different, because I've had the same thing where the voices will come in, and they will come in my voice, and I'll be like, where is this coming from? And I would be like questioning it. And I'm speaking specifically for SRT.
Yeah.
So which in a way I didn't even know that I guess is in a form of mediumship in a way,
Mm.
because I was like
Hmm.
receiving messages.
Yeah.
And so I would question them, but I think that the way that I was able to discern this was because there were things that I just didn't even know. Like, it was almost like I don't even know where this is coming from. So like, this is not me. So then I
Right.
know, then I trust that that's definitely not. I mean, at least that's what I do. But again, I feel that Amy, you might benefit from being in a circle, even because what I like about Maurice is that he doesn't just focus on like loved ones. He like how he mentioned earlier, spirit guides can come through, and that's okay, like having spirit guides and other beings that want to communicate. So that would be really a beautiful safe space for you to come in and just practice that connection with your guides and call them in. And someone was asking, Lydia was asking, which I kind of wanted to segue into that. Do we speak out loud or telepathically?
Doesn't
That's
matter.
a very good question.
You get people that are like, you gotta say, you gotta vibrate it out loud. Like, you get people that like preach that. It doesn't matter. It matters what you feel comfortable with. Because it's a you thing. It's a you. It's completely internal. For me, I don't like. Yeah, I do. I will say things out loud sometimes, but like that's because in the moments, like it'll feel helpful for me. There's no requirement that you need to do it out loud or in words. It's purely what feels right.
And I have to agree with you, Maurice, because I do the same thing. Like when I'm doing clearings, even like I specifically do my clearings, like I speak out loud so the person knows what's happening. So they're
Right.
not just sitting there in silence with me. But the reality is that I can just sit when I'm doing my clearings for myself, and I can be in silence and have a conversation all with
Right. Exactly.
just telepathically. So yeah, they hear us because they can hear our thoughts too.
Hmm.
So at least that's what the message I've received is that they can hear our thoughts.
Yeah, I'm
So
glad that you said that because I think that might more answer Lydia's question. Is that like there is no you don't need to speak it out loud for them to hear you, which might be what you're asking, Lydia. No, no, they hear everything. They hear all
yeah.
the thoughts. They feel everything. You don't need to. There's no need to be like, here. I need to. No, that there isn't a need for that because they are directly connected. They don't have voices and larynxes and like voice boxes. They don't need all that.
Yeah, that's incredible. I'm so happy that we share this because yeah, because it is kind of interesting, like these. And then again, these are little intricacies of mediumship, right? That we don't, I mean, if you don't practice it, you don't know, right? So it's like so cool that we're sharing this with everyone. So I hope
Yeah.
everyone is enjoying this. I feel like everyone is enjoying it because everyone is posting here comments upon comments, and they're all excited. So uh, Vanita's asking a very interesting question, which I think can be a little confusing for a lot of people sometimes. So people mix up mediumship and being psychic. Can you clarify?
I think the rule of thumb is like you can be you can be psychic and not be a medium, but you can't be a medium and not be psychic. So the psychic,
Mm,
this quote, like this refers to the ability to perceive non-physical information. This is how you can sum it up: the ability to perceive non-physical information, things, energy, whatever. And mediumship refers to acting as a channel between non-physical beings, between like acting as a middle person between the non-physical world and the physical world. This is what it means to be a medium. And in order for you to receive that non-physical information, you must be psychic because you have to be able to receive this non-physical information. Does that make sense? So like being psychic just refers to like the raw ability to perceive. Mediumship is the ability to both perceive, understand what's happening, and relay the information.
that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So basically, so you can be a psychic but not a medium, or
Right.
but if you're a medium, you're automatically a psychic.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is interesting. I feel like that's like a meme or something. don't know why when you said that, I was like seeing that meme in your Instagram for whatever reason. So maybe, hey, idea. Um,
Okay.
um, so anyway, oh, that's so funny. Somebody said concierge to spirits. Yeah, I guess we're concierge to spirits.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's incredible.
exactly.
That's an incredible way to see it, and it's so beautiful. Yeah, so Amy is saying that she's definitely looking into joining a circle, and then Gigi said that she sent you an email because she wants to join.
Okay.
So super excited. And you know what? And I knew that this was going to be amazing, because a lot of you that are watching this, all of you are basically so connected to this work, and yeah, this is all about feeling empowered in your beauty and your beautiful abilities. And and for me, the reason why I was so healing to attend the circle, and I am planning to attend the Sunday ones too, was the fact that was the fact for me in particular was the fact that I was not giving myself permission. I felt like I needed to get the permission from someone to call myself X, Y, and Z. And having someone who who I know is a medium and I admire their work, and then like kind of say like, but you can do this, and just kind of have my hand held throughout the process. It was so good. It felt so good to have that. So and then Vanita says she's gonna have to join the circle. Okay, well, there we go. So now we're all joining.
Awesome. I'm happy to
We
have
have a
all
full
of you.
house, full house here, Maurice. But yeah, so and again, like I was saying, is it just was such a healing thing, and it really does make a difference when we do go into spaces like this, because we're able to really exercise that muscle. But then also when we get that feedback, I think that feedback also helps, like also like cements that feeling of like, oh wow, like yeah, like this is real,
Absolutely.
and so I'm so happy to, I mean, we had so many amazing questions today, and do you have anything else that you feel that we didn't cover, Maurice? Because I feel like we kind of like we're asking you so many questions, and like we were all overzealous here trying to learn from you today about mediumship. Do you have anything else that you want to share about mediumship that we didn't cover, or that maybe like a message about mediumship that you want us to kind of like take away?
Well, just to piggyback off of the last things that you were just saying, that is an important aspect of mediumship, because people are like, will ask me sometimes, like, how can you be sure? How can you be confident? For me, all of my confidence came through the feedback from people. Like, I needed that. Like, so like in order for my ego to like really let its guard down and be like, okay, it's like I had to get all those yeses and the oh my gods from people. Like I needed that. So even in for the sake of like a mediumship circle, that's such an important aspect of it. Not only are you in the safe space, not only are you surrounded by people who are all doing the same thing, and not only are you just trying to develop and practice just like anybody else who's there, you end up getting the confirmations from people that helps like, oh, this is real, like this is happening, from people that you've never met, that you never talked to, or that you don't know anything about their lives or anything, and bringing forth information that you couldn't know, that tells you like, oh, I know my ego can agree that I didn't know that. So if I'm receiving it, someone is telling me that. So I am doing mediumship. Did you know what I mean? Like kind of making that connection in the head. The other thing I'd say is that like I find that it's typical, not typical, but it's common for people to kind of be intimidated by group work. And I can understand, I can assure you that the space
Mm.
is like completely clear, and it's, however, I do understand. And for that, I do offer one-on-one mentorship as well. Like I actually really enjoy that. So if there's anyone who doesn't quite feel ready or willing to do a circle, that's something that I do too.
That's powerful. Thank you for sharing that, because I did not know that you did that. So I'm so happy that you mentioned that. And so I kind of wanted to just circle back into your website and kind of like tell everyone, if you really enjoyed the conversations that we've had. I know that a lot of you love Maurice and you want more of his energy here. And I completely understand, because he has so much wisdom, and he's coming from such a heart-based space. And and I'm just so grateful that we get to share here in the space together, Maurice. And so I really want to invite you all to go into his website. If you, again, like if you feel like, I really want to do some work, and I really want to see if I can do, maybe you just need that boost at a one-on-one level, then you can reach out to him there and email him through his website. And then also I want to invite you to really go into his Instagram, because he does post on often on his stories whenever he's got meeting. And sometimes he'll be like, hey, I'm planning to do something tomorrow, you guys want to do it? And then and so he'll have a conversation with you on Instagram. So make sure that you hop on Instagram and make sure you're following him, so that you can you'll know, maybe you just don't want to attend, maybe you want to attend all of them. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so so that you can keep up with the circle. So maybe you can't make one, and then maybe you want to keep up with another one that he has coming up, then then you have that ability to keep up with that. So
two more things I just wanted to say. So like, first, like when it comes to my circles, there's no requirement to like, I know some people are like, you got to buy 10 packages, and then like no, like you can come like day to day, like it's okay. Like you can come one day and not come for 6 months, it doesn't matter, or not come ever again. There's no requirement, because I know some people get kind of like, they feel pressure, like, oh, like I'm gonna have to do, like I'm like I'm committing to this thing. There is no commitment. Like you come and go as you please, and it's like day by day, so don't feel boxed in by that. But also I had an idea, and I'll just throw this out there. If anyone who's here right now would want to kind of do like a free impromptu mediumship circle today at 4 p.m. Eastern time, let me know, or reach out to me, and I'll do it. Yeah, because I'm pretty open this afternoon. So if that's something that anyone would be interested in, I mean, I guess you could write it here, but I can't really see. So like, I'd rather you probably either email me or like reach out on
yeah,
Instagram.
it would. Yeah, because there's so many comments, but yeah, you can all. I would recommend email, because that's a like more of a permanent thing here.
Yeah.
The comments kind of go away once the live is ended. So make sure that you email him if you want to, like, Maurice, I'm kind of like thinking about it. I
Right. If you
don't.
want to kind of
I
dip
may
your
have to like
toe.
schedule, like clear my schedule a little bit and like
Yeah.
attend that circle for today, because that sounds exciting. And yeah, and that would be such a great way to like give it a try and like see what it feels like, and all that good stuff. So,
Right.
and Gigi says yes. She gave like a big yes.
Okay.
That was incredible. So one thing, and then Nikki is saying she's definitely down. Oh wow, so we got some people in the house that want it. So okay, well, look, listen, that's incredible. So I think that's great. I'm so excited you guys want to attend today and really receive the medicine, because there is medicine in this experience too. And so I'm so excited that you guys are open to receive that. And vintage. So there's one more question that Vintage Vanity, when communing with spirit, have you ever had spirit visually manifest in the room with you, make noises, or hearing them walking around?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is a thing that has happened before. Less so now than it did in the past, only because for me, I'm probably different than many other mediums. Because like, even when I teach, like I kind of teach the method of kind of meeting them in like a communal space, like a space in between, if that makes sense. So it's like meeting somebody at the mall rather than at your home. Because what'll happen is that like some people will get like the spirits who are like knocking at their window at night and like in the bed, and I'm like, no, that's not, don't do that to me. Like
Yes.
that's, so like I have a very strong kind of natural boundary when it comes to mediumship. I don't walk around receiving things for people, because I'm too sensitive for that. Like I'll go crazy. So like I designate the time and space to do it. So I don't typically get that a lot. It happens sometimes sporadically, and usually within the scope of like an actual mediumship reading, it has a point, like a very specific point that I'm supposed to articulate and get to the person that I'm talking to. But very atypical for me personally, but for other people, it's quite common. But I feel that that's because of the way that they view their particular gift and their mediumship. Because some people, for example, like I do it inwards. Like I like to go inwards, and like I meet them in this place, and like I narrate from there. Many other people, many of them, my peers and friends, will be like, "Oh, this person's sitting right next to me, sitting like standing over my shoulder," and that's cool. But like I prefer, I prefer my method just because of the type of person that I am.
I kind of align with the way that you like to do it. I don't know. There's something about having them on the outward that I don't really connect to.
Mm.
And it's interesting. Actually, one last question, and I know we were gonna do readings, but I know where like I wanted to ask you. So you know those moments when you see like shadows
Mhm.
passing? Okay. I actually had that happen a lot when I was a kid. Like I would see like I wouldn't see like the exact like you know how some people can see like all the details. Like I didn't see like exact details. It was just kind of like a shadow.
Mm.
And that happened a lot. And I noticed that especially when I didn't feel scary ever. I always felt like I was being watched.
Mm.
But
Mhm.
not watching in like a creepy way, but more like watched over, if that
Mhm.
makes any sense.
Yeah.
So if we feel like, is there a way that we can like if we see that shadow that we can like how would we connect to that spirit? Like do we just like invite them in? Like do I like go into meditation and like invite them into the meditation space, or do I just like, I mean, I'm not going to talk to the shadow because the shadow is kind of passing, right? So but how would I transfer that visual into actual communicating with them?
The way that I do this, the way I've done it for like other people too, is like I just use my same method. I just do this. I replicate the same exact thing, invite that specific spirit in. And like more often than not, they'll come in, and then you can actually kind of have an actual conversation with them. Sometimes they won't come in. Sometimes the reason that they're kind of like flitting shadows is because they intentionally don't really want to be like seen or noticed or spoken to. So I mean, there's been examples of that where like people have been like, okay, so like, what is this? I keep seeing the shadow, and I'll invite the shadow in, and it'll be like real tight-lipped, like it won't want to like communicate,
Oh,
and it won't.
wow.
So sometimes they're intentionally elusive. It's just like you are so perceptive that you're seeing them, and they're like, damn it, didn't really want to be seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Okay, because I was, you know what? I'm so glad you said that. That brings me so much peace because I was feeling that like they were around, but they were like really like interacting. I was like I was like, well, am I doing something wrong? Like, so that makes sense. Well, next time I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try and bring them in the way that you said, and then I will see. And then obviously if they don't want, then that's fine. I'm not gonna force anyone. But that's interesting that you're saying that because I was feeling that elusiveness
Mm.
energy that you were saying. So thank you for that. That's so such a good mirror for me to like look into. So thank you. Okay, so all right, y'all. I know that y'all are here for readings, and so I'm gonna stop asking questions, and I think that we're good. So we're gonna let Maurice kind of like prepare a little bit and get himself in his space. And in the meantime, I just kind of wanted to take a moment just to thank everyone that is part. I didn't thank you guys at the beginning, like I've been doing in the past couple of videos. So thank you to my supporters, those who are part of the Cosmic Light Activation membership. Y'all know who you are. Thank you so much. I am placing your names here as a way to celebrate you. Thank you so much for supporting this and this channel. And I'm so excited because we get to do clearings every month, and set an intention to do a clearing every month, a collective clearing. And then I also have a private Telegram channel where I share some collective messages as well in there. So if you're interested in joining, please make sure that you go into my website, thebloominglotushealing.com, to sign up for this and for the email list, because I'm not opening it just yet. I also wanted to mention that I do have a beloved method class, beginners class coming up. And so I kind of wanted to take a moment to just share with you that if you're interested in learning about your soul relationships and you want to clear energies between you and your loved ones, and expand into, in tandem with what Maurice has been, showing us today, and you're attending the circles and mediumship circles, and you're expanding, I would love for you to come also into my class. This is also in a way developing your gifts. So you can go into my website. I do have a special 25% off that is going to end on the 11th of this month. So please, I did extend it. It was ending on the 4th, but I extended it to the 11th. So if it calls your heart and you want to learn how to clear energies, and you want to learn how to clear even more things between you and loved ones, please go ahead and do so. So anyway, I am done talking about myself, and I wanted to just kind of open the space and for the reading. So if you have any questions for Maurice, make sure that you put them on the comments, put your first name and whatever question that you have for him. So let's see.
Sorry,
Okay.
my mic was muted. Yeah, sure. We'll do it like that. Ask questions.
Okay. So Vanita is asking a question. She would love to understand what the persistent pain in her right arm, elbow area is about. What is the message to help her heal it?
Okay. So this is a bit of so let me I don't need it. I was gonna use a diagram. Okay. I'll just feel into it. So when I look at it, I just kind of zoom in to it and look inside of it. It looks as if that there is some sort of like battle going on. It's like I can almost see like two sides battling in your elbow, which I'm sure is it's a representation of something happening. It's as if that there's a struggle when it comes to how much that you're giving from the heart space. I'm going to say a bunch of stuff that I like. This is kind of what I was saying before. I have no idea what I'm saying, but I'm just going to tell you what they're giving me. This is definitely energetic. It's become physical, but it started as like a kind of like an inner long running issue that's been happening. It's as if that what I'm seeing, because I don't understand it, like it's like if you could picture the hand kind of like pointed downwards, just kind of like by the side. If you can picture that, and like one side of this battalion is like going up the hand towards the elbow, the other one is going from the heart and like meeting that thing there. So it's like there's an aspect of you, like some sort of blockage in you having to do with not being as open to freely give. And it's probably as a result of fear of not receiving in the same amount that you are being given. So it's like there's like a battle between like wanting to freely give, like this will be the side that's coming from the heart outwards, and then this kind of resistance to doing that, which is like the other side coming up against that, and it's meeting at the elbow, and what this is doing is making you unable to like fully stretch your arm out to help people. It's like it's hindering your ability to be able to like help and serve in the ways that you're probably wanting to. And I guess you're asking what's the message to help you heal it. Well, can I just take I don't know how much time I have. Like I kind of wanted to do it. I'm just going to take a second to just kind of help clear it, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
I guess I'll narrate what I'm seeing too. It's as if like a mediator has stepped in, but between the two battling sides. It comes from up above and it kind of comes down. It's like just like a big shimmering bright white light, and like the two sides are kind of like looking at this. I'm gonna call it a mediator because it seems to have like stopped. It's like a miracle, like a spectacle, and like they've all kind of like dropped their weapons and they're just kind of like in deep, incredible awe at the sight. And they're kind of like almost like shedding tears, and like they're so moved by this image because it's so kind of ethereal and impossible looking, but also because they know that they can feel from it what's radiating from it, that it's come to make peace between these two sides. this is what's happening through me into the elbow. I'm just saying what I'm seeing. I can see them kind of like stepping up to each other, like close to each other's faces, both sides, and kind of like looking in deep into each other's eyes and seeing how they are the same. And there's something moving that they're feeling within themselves about like, how could they fight? My ears ringing. How could they be fighting themselves? Like how could they be fighting like their own like brethren kind of thing? You know, like looking deep into the eyes, like, oh, we're not different. Like, why would we treat each other this way? And I can see them kind of embrace, like shake hands and kind of come back together. And I can see them like it's like they like walk into each other, and then like as they meet each other, it's like this image of the two battling sides dissolves like back into just like a normal smooth arm. So I'm gonna I'm resisting the urge to like to want to like keep going deeper, but like this is what is happening. So I'll leave you with that, Benita. And I'm interested to know if of how that's feeling right now too.
Yeah, that's incredible, Vanita. And listen, that message sounded so profound. It was such a profound message. So Vanita, let us know in the comments how did that resonate for you, and how you're feeling, and sitting with that with that message.
It's good practice to like do this rapid fire like that. It's cool. Love reading. Hoping something special comes through. Okay, so I'll do like a quick mediumship reading for you. Okay, there's a man here. He has straight type hair. That looks to be like a natural part in the hair. The hair looks like lighter colored, but like has some like darkness to it. I don't know what you call it, like maybe dirty blonde or light brown. I don't know. But there's like light tones to it, but also some darkness. The hair is not extremely short to the head. It's like it's shorter, but like not very short. And he's appearing here around age. I give this man maybe like a youthful 40. Like I wanted to say 30, but like I feel like this man would have been, I think he would have maybe either looked or like presented himself as younger than he actually was. And just a side note, they can show at any age. There's sometimes the age they show at has some sort of significance. This is what I'm seeing. He is kind of like medium build, like not like big, not super skinny. He's wearing what looks like a polo shirt with like a open, like not buttoned up polo shirt. It's like short sleeve, a couple buttons at the top, and maybe like slightly more, not like big and not like even obese. There's like a little bit of more roundness to the torso area. He's accentuating that, and he sits down. He's like real smiley. What I'm getting from him is that his personality would have been like he would have been the type to like smile and joke a lot. This would have been what would be on the surface, at least. This is again how he would have presented himself. So less stoic, less serious. He would have been kind of like a more lighthearted kind of guy. And again, I think this might lend to his like youthfulness. And he does feel like he's related to you. If he's not blood related, he's like very close to the family. He doesn't feel very far away. I feel like that you would have had memories with this person, likely when you were maybe a bit younger, or maybe even much so younger than you are now. His passing was probably more self-inflicted. Like, so, for example, I don't really feel like he was murdered, for example, necessarily. I feel like he probably died of like maybe an illness that came from his own actions, kind of thing. This would typically be the point where I'd stop and ask, like, do you recognize this person? Do you understand who this is? Yeah, but for the sake of time, maybe I just keep going.
So do you recognize this person, Vintage Vanity? Let us know in the comments.
I was asking him what he wants to say. I'm just kind of skipping ahead. I can see his like arm hairs, his like kind of like bigger looking forearms. So like I feel he would have been a pretty like sturdy guy, like strong too.
She says that she doesn't.
You don't recognize this guy yet? Okay.
No.
So just to make sure that I just reviewing it, man, lighter colored hair, kind of a slightly husky area in the stomach. Like I feel as though he was a family member, but could possibly not be. The demeanor was kind of like more upbeat, kind of more jokey rather than serious. And yeah, so that's just a review to maybe help jog your memory, but I'll just keep going. He feels kind of slightly removed, so like not like dad, but if anything would be like uncle, possibly even like grand uncle or something like that, like further back, but like it doesn't seem like directly like not that close to you. Okay, but what do you want to say? Tell me what you want to say, though. And by the way, if anyone else knows who this person is, because I'm really good at like directing it at who is asking, but if it's for anyone else, like definitely just speak up, because then I want you to receive the message. But okay, he's wanting to accentuate this aspect of keeping it lighthearted, being too. It was something that in his life that he applied to pretty much everything. There was a time in his younger years where he would have been more kind of like serious. Like he would have been like, no, I have to do things this way. And there was some event or events in his life that showed him how that wasn't the way to be. So in his later years, he kind of took a more like lighthearted and kind of airy approach to life. And that like he doesn't want that for you. He doesn't want you to slip into a place where you think that you're being overly serious about any one thing, no matter how dire the situation is, or no matter how important it is to you. He's like stressing the need for you to like maintain that kind of like just a little bit more of that like air quality, that airiness.
So Amy's saying that could be for her, her grandfather.
So just Amy, just by the way, and I'm sorry, Vanity, I tried to really aim it at you. For your grandfather, just to review the way that he appeared, his personality, even down to his hair, and even like the polo shirt, he seemed to like really kind of like make that an important aspect of this. For you, Amy, does that feel resonant? I'm waiting as if she's here.
It takes a little while sometimes for the messages to come through.
Yeah. And okay, so what else do you want? And also the message as well. If the message is resonating with you about like if maybe you might be in a state where you might be kind of slipping into kind of taking things a little bit too seriously, that might be a thing. Yes, you always wear polo shirts. Okay, so might be, and how, yeah, I just want to know about that message too, because that seemed very directed to the person for where they are right now, like in their journey, about not taking things too seriously, and how like this allows for like much better like movement and passage through the ebbs and flows, like being too serious creates stringency, which kind of ultimately ends up anchoring you down much more than you need to be right now. So, and, getting serious as a human, we kind of associate that with like, okay, we have to, I'm buckling down now. So now that I'm serious, it's going to happen quicker, and he's kind of accentuating like that's not the case. Like when you do that, you actually slow yourself down a whole lot. So I'm going to assume that this message is for Amy and just leave you with his love rather than getting hung up on it. It's funny because you heard me say like, oh, I guess I'll do it like this. People who he always made me smile. It's just like I entered saying like, oh, I guess we'll do it like this. People can ask questions, because what I intended to do was just kind of like drop in and allow whoever to come through to come through. Okay. You know what I mean? So it's funny. I think I've still like programmed that, and that's still happening. So I was like, that never happens. Like I always get who it's for. So I think that's what happened here. But maybe if I kind of really intended strongly for anyone who's asking, you know what? Actually, no. Can I actually do it like that? Because I think
Yeah,
maybe it'll
absolutely. I
flow
think that's beautiful. That
better.
that's how I've experienced mediumships before
Yeah.
in groups. That somebody comes in, so somebody comes in and then they recognize them, and so that I think that's a beautiful thing. So yeah, let's do that. Let's
Okay.
see who comes in, and for the people that are here.
I will ask for somebody. I'll intend for someone to come for you, Vanity. I know that's like you asked, but again, like I began by saying earlier, I can't control who comes in. I can only request. But if I intend to receive who I'm like sitting across from, that's you know what I mean. So okay. So rather than get hung up on that, who else wants to come forth? And with the way that it's like for me and what other people I experience say is that like it's like a conveyor belt. It's people who's like, I'm not getting anybody. Like, yes, you are. Like, there's always someone there standing. There's like an impossibly long and never-ending line of spirits that want to come in. You're welcome, Amy.
And Gal is saying this is so cool to watch in action. Thank you for doing this.
Oh yeah, of course. There's a woman that walked in. She's slender. She's appearing here younger. I want to give her age like 20, between 24 and 27, but I believe that she's showing herself as younger. She likely got older, but I'm also not going to decide that yet. She's wearing a like kind of like a dress that's closer fitting to the body. The it goes. It's like a short sleeve dress, and it goes down to maybe the the shin area with some like a bit of leg showing. Okay. Her hair is kind of pulled up, kind of like in like a maybe like a bun or like a messy bun. I don't know hairstyle. Sorry. And her hair color is dark, so it's like I want to say either very dark brown or maybe black. Um, Possibly some like yeah, like I would say between brown and black. And straighter texture to the hair here too. And she sits down. Very sleek, classy, dainty. The way that she sits like very intentionally like has her knees together, hands on the lap, sitting up pristinely. I feel like this is an aspect of her personality as well. It would have been important to be like quote unquote ladylike. When I sit down next to her, immediately she smells like really good. So I feel like this is also like it's evidential for this specific person. This would have been an aspect of her that may have followed her into even probably later years, but very like kind of sweet smell coming from her. She's very like bright and like her. I can feel this confidence from her, but not arrogant confidence. It's like just confidence in herself and who she is. Not like I'm better than you, but like I can just feel kind of like almost like this kind of like quiet, almost like slow moving confidence. Okay. Fairer skin, I'll say. I can tell that her hands are very gentle and soft. I'm just feeling into like, well, what did she maybe do for a living? This is the times where my ego wants to fire off questions, but I know that I have to just let her like give it to me. One thing I'm noticing is she hasn't said any words, and typically that's indicative for me that they probably were a more soft-spoken or quiet person in life, and there would have been one to probably be more reserved. It's like again, it doesn't really feel shy. It's just that this is just her personality. She's kind of more like quiet, but also there's this like uh, warmth and almost like this kind of like constant slight smile, as if like she is just really confident in who she is and doesn't need to speak and prove herself. I'll keep going, but has anyone recognizing this person yet?
Let us know in the comments if you recognize the descriptions of what Maurice is channeling right now. And if there's anything, if you're feeling it in your heart right now, just say, yeah, it might be you, and then he can dive a little deeper.
She see this. I get this detail wrong a lot because sometimes. So okay, so I'm gonna say that she seems like she would have been considered like fairly tall for like maybe her, um, like her for being a woman and being a woman in that time or being a woman in wherever she's located. Like she would have been considered like tall on the taller side, not towering, but like taller than normal. But I say that I get that detail wrong a lot because oftentimes that's an indicator of like how big their energy was. Like I'll see them visually as bigger, but like they oftentimes it comes in like they weren't big, they weren't tall, but they had a really big energy that filled the room, kind of thing. So I'll just say both of those things. And again, feels like a relative, feels like someone that's related to somebody. Uh, I'm gonna say, oh my god, it might be Megan. Really? Okay, Amy. So like, just again, the description of the physicality of the woman. Does that make sense? So at this age, so like I said, she could have gotten older, but your nana. So okay, so have you seen pictures of your nana, for example, when she was younger? Was she like slender, real gentle looking, dark hair? Um, I'm not sure if you like her personality. I kind of have a feeling would have leaked into her later years. So like this quiet confidence, not very loud and boisterous, more reserved and observative rather than kind of outgoing. And okay, yes, it does. Okay, yeah. Sorry, everybody. Sometimes this happens. click into like one person. But I'm not going to apologize because whoever's coming in needs to come in. This is how it works. This is why I can't really control. And she sure was. Okay, cool. And okay, let me just ask her. This is for my ego. Are you her nana? That slight, constant little smirk turns into like a big, kind of like smile. So I'm going to take that as a yes. This is your nana. Okay. So what would you like to say then? She comes over to me and she starts to rub my upper back. And I'm going to say me a lot, but again, I'm your proxy for this. So this is like you that she's doing it to. The feeling that's coming through the hands into my upper back, honestly, really like into the heart area, feels like an awesome job. Like you need to know that you're doing a good job. I understand that you're not praised enough for it, but I'm praising you always. She's like kind of rubbing the upper back really gently. I can feel emotion coming. I'm not sure if that's you, Amy, or her, but I can feel it like kind of like in this area of my head. The sense of pride in how you've taken what she's given you, both like directly through interaction, but also even just straight to like the DNA, like what you've done with what she's given you. Oh my God, that's hugely important message. Awesome. She did that to you all the time. Awesome. Um, she's so proud of what you've done with what she's given you on all fronts. So like both physically, non-physically. She's like, it's amazing how you've taken what I've given you and like condensed it into your own way. Like she thinks it's such a spectacle and such like an amazing thing to see that she could have never imagined that like her aspects that she's handed to you would be utilized in the way that you're utilizing it. That you've taken it to a much farther degree, and you've healed to a much greater degree than she was. Like she's taken some of the. So I guess some of those non-physical things that she's given you also have to do with like you can call them traumas or inherited stuff that she's incidentally given you and what you've done with them personally in your life. And she's like, she's so amazed that she never would have imagined. She's also really grateful to be able to experience you in this way and kind of like hang out and like watch you. Yeah, you're crying, so I can feel it in the eyes. She's so grateful to be able to like watch you in this way. You know, to like watch you go through this process in your life, and that like her passing, her losing her body didn't mean that she actually died. That she can actually still remain around you and watch you grow into a wonderful woman, are the words that she uses. And yeah, I'll leave you with her love, because I feel myself wanting to go off on a whole thing.
That's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. And I love being able to witness this. I love being able to see how this unfolds. And I hope all of you are enjoying this as well. This is so powerful. And that you can see firsthand how healing this is, right? Just to receive those messages from our loved ones and how powerful that is. And she was just saying that she feels her constantly, and everyone is sending hugs to Amy. I love this community. Everyone is so loving, and I'm so grateful for all of you guys for just supporting each other and loving on each other. This is what this is about. This is what this is about. So she says she is so grateful. So thank you. Yeah, that's
You're
beautiful.
welcome. I'm grateful to you. Okay, what we got? Okay, so I'll
Okay,
it's like a marathon.
clearing the space. Clearing the space.
To be honest with you, I think there's an animal here. So that the way that they walked in, so like they kind of walked in, because it's kind of like the way that I see, just real quick, it's like just to kind of help people understand how it happens for me. I'll say the words "see" here, but like oftentimes it's coming in multiple different ways, and I'm building it into an image. So for this, it's like call it like 60% imagery and like 40% like raw data that I'm like, okay, fitting the pieces in to make sense. So like I can understand that there's like a being that seemed to walk in on all fours and then sit down and like in this couch across from me. Like, but the way that it's sitting looks like an upright seated, I want to say dog, like a mid-sized dog. Very gentle, very calm. I'm getting kind of like browns and darker browns, maybe even like black in there as well. Interesting, because oftentimes when a dog comes in, they'll come in like super like kind of childlike, like tongue hanging out, like eyes all like glossy and painting. This one seems to be very like wise and very like calm, and it's almost like stoic kind of this kind of energy, which is interesting. So I feel like this is a distinct thing about this specific animal, this dog. Tail isn't like wagging, it's just real calm and like sits on, like it makes me want to like almost like bow, like respectfully. Like this is like a very like ancient old soul, this dog. But I feel like this would have been, I feel like this was a dog that was alive in somebody's life, and was just the soul beneath the dog was just ancient and old and wise. And I feel like even this detail here would be kind of like pretty distinct when it comes to like a person who would have been close to an animal that's passed away. I'm not going to try to decide that though. It could be something like the animal of a family member, for example, or a friend. Rainbow, is that the dog's name? If I can, let me ask. Question for you, Gigi, because like when I asked, hey, is this Rainbow? Is your name Rainbow? It gave me its paw, and that to me felt like this would have been maybe something that if this is your animal would have done in life, like it knew to like hand the paw, put the paw in the hand, kind of thing. It offered me its paw, and I was like, I didn't ask for your paw. So, but to me, that my logical brain is saying that this might be evidential of something that this animal might have done in life, or anybody. I'm not going to own it on anyone specific, but so.
She said,
oh
"OMG." So I'm gonna.
Okay. I'm gonna.
Aww.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and now I can see the painting start, like the tongue hang out, like like the smiling dog thing. Like I think it's like happy to be recognized. Okay, friend, what do you want to say? I can see the dog really get like kind of excited, and like it stands up and like on the couch and kind of like walks in a circle and like kind of like jumps up on the hind back paws and like kind of like puts its front paws in the air. Like I can see like a lot of excitement. So um, I feel as though that you may not have you may have gotten to a point where you've like and really to kind of probably protect your own heart, like let go of the fact that that they've passed to kind of protect yourself and like make it easier on yourself. But what that also did was kind of limit the ability for you to kind of remain connected, because it doesn't seem like this the dog has never left. It's always been with you, and like to be recognized now and to be seen is like it's static. It can't contain itself, even if it's like wise and stoic typically. um I do feel like this would have been a dog that did see some years. I don't think it passed too young. um so like I kind of am feeling from it that like it was satisfied with how many years it got to spend with you. What else do you want to say? I see the image of licking tears away from the face. So if you're crying, that's what your dog is doing for you right now. I'm gonna say she's 14. Yeah, got old. Yeah. Ah, okay. Beautiful, beautiful spirit. This dog. Yeah, it's like the way that she feels in my heart is like so comforting and warm. It feels like home to me. More than anything, it's just oh, sorry, I can say she now. I didn't know for sure. More than anything, she is here to express her constant presence in your lives. I'll say plural. That she's still a guide, even more so than before now. That she's completely unhindered and free, and this is a kind of essentially the role that she's playing for you and your family right now on the other side. It's like she's like past her body past, but she still is locked into this kind of mission to help guide you all. And she says, ask for me before you sleep so we can play.
Oh.
And I'll leave you with her love.
So she's definitely crying. And she says, yes, my baby. That is so beautiful, Gigi. I love that. I never thought about our animal friends showing up too. That's
Mm,
also really, really cool. Because I mean,
yeah.
they are part of our families, and it's hard to let them go, because we don't want them to go, and we love them so much. So that's powerful.
I'm so grateful.
So she says, I will. And she sends so many kisses. Oh, I'm so happy, Gigi. Oh, that was so beautiful. And everyone is just saying, like, like God was saying, dogs are the best. This is so beautiful. And Cece was, I know it's so moving. I'm holding back tears. I absolutely love witnessing these kind of connections. It's so beautiful. It's so powerful. Amy saying so beautiful. Like, look at this. Everyone is just loving this. That was incredible. So yeah. So do we have time for one more, or do you still have one, energy for one more, Maurice? Because you've been in that energy, and I want to honor your energy as well.
I'm
Um,
good now. I'll probably feel it later, but I'm good for now. So
you're
I'll
good
do
for
another
now.
one. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do one more, and to give time, hopefully someone else can receive a message as well.
So someone who's very tall walks in, and how tall that they look, I'm going to say that they were actually tall in life. Like I'm going to bypass the whole like energetic bigness thing. I think they were just tall. This seems like a thing that they're wanting me to first notice, because like the way that I'm looking, the way that they walk in, it's like their like head is out of like camera. So I think they're really wanting to hit that point home that they were like a tall person. I think it's a man. Slow moving, kind of walked, kind of little slowly, kind of sauntered in. The footsteps I could kind of almost feel beneath my feet. This person was probably also not just tall, but like solid, rather than maybe like more tall and like slender or like gangly. Sits down like real like heavily into the couch. First thing he says is glad to be here. So this guy's talking. So I'm going to say that this would have been a person that wasn't so quiet necessarily, or I'm going to at least say he's more outspoken and expressive, because I heard that clearly. Like, glad to be here. There's some like a slight gruffness to his voice. He almost reminds me of like the way that he talks reminds me of maybe from like a further back time. So he's appearing here, I'm pretty sure like younger, like between 20s and 30s or something, but I feel like his manner of speech seems older, maybe like 50s, 60s kind of thing. You know, there's just like the way that he's talking. Button-up shirt, slacks. Wouldn't have dressed like flamboyantly, I guess. So it would have been kind of like more like plain and kind of like even toned colors. I feel like this is, I mean, probably just a part of his personality. He just wasn't that kind of way, but also kind of like intentional to not draw as much attention to him, because he's already kind of like a big guy. So like wearing like a bright pink shirt, for example, like walking down the street, like a lot of eyes. So I think that was kind of intentional as well. Like he would have kind of wanted to like kind of tone down the appearance a bit. He would have been considered like much more traditionally masculine, quote unquote. He would have been on like that scale of things, and that would have been like an important aspect of him. And it feels like that was probably trained into him by his dad, like you got to be a man, kind of thing. I feel like he would have utilized his body. Like it would have been something that he would have done. My logical brain wants to say maybe he worked. He's not showing me any sort of work or anything, so I don't really want to say that as evidence. But what I feel, though, is that he would have used that body intentionally. Like he would have been well aware of his size, and he would have used it ways that could appear, or even like sports, or even just like physical activity, or like using it to build things, or like pick things up, put things down. So maybe like in his work, I'm just gonna say, I'm trying really hard to go fast. I'm sorry. Usually I'm very slow and intentional. I take a lot of pauses, so I'm trying to like. I'm just gonna go and sit down next to him. He reaches his hand out to shake, and I can feel his like very firm handshake. That would have been an important thing for him. Looking in the eyes and shaking of the hands. His eyes are very kind of like vivid and stark, like very, I don't even know the word, like not compelling, but like almost like hypnotic. Like looking into his eyes, like looking almost into like a bird's eyes or something. They look this very like I was like kind of like struggling when I looked into his face. And okay. What else do you want to tell me? He draws attention to his heart, his chest area. He might have passed of something heart related. Like I feel like there was like a lot of activity in the heart. I might be reaching, I might be assuming, but I just feel the sensation in my heart that feels like heavy thumping, like it had to work hard. The heart in his chest. Anyone possibly recognizing this man yet, or any aspects of this man?
Is anyone recognizing this person? I'm feeling that it could be my dad, but
Okay.
maybe you can. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't expecting to get a reading, but yeah, I wonder if it's my dad. Can you ask him?
He goes, so you're paying attention, like kind of thing. So okay, so just for me, was he like that? Was he like outspoken, and was he also like a tall guy?
So I didn't really interact with him in life, but I know that he died of heart issues. I mean, I guess he was taller than me.
Okay.
But anyone's taller than me.
Yeah.
But he was definitely a big personality, though. He had a big personality. And I feel like a lot of my personality, like, I guess natural, I'm not all of it, but I feel like some of it, I inherited from him. But I was wondering if it's him. I mean, because I'm surprised, like, I wasn't expecting this.
Based off of his reaction, and that's all I can go off of is what I'm seeing is that, like, I believe that this is him. And I just keep searching for things to get my ego out of the way. That's like, what was it? Like, so the shoot. What would you be able to? How about the starkness of the eyes, like the vividness of the eyes? Did he have like very striking eyes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's not for me, I guess. The ego's like, all right. I guess we can take that. All right. So, what do you want to say? It's very fitting that this is the last reading that is yours.
Right. I know. Like, what? Sorry, y'all. I mean, I wasn't even trying to, like, what is going on?
He kind of takes one of my hands and two of his hands. And again, like, this is him doing this to you. Like I get this clear impression that he's like, this is how he's touching you. And he gets kind of like more, like, less energetic and more like kind of serious and somber. And he like bites his bottom lip as if he's like pensively, kind of like how do I say this kind of feel or look. And he makes himself lower, like he brings his head down lower than mine is, and like looks up as if to kind of almost in a way it feels like prostrating himself, kind of like it feels like a version of a bow, kind of like this is honor and this is respect, and like looking up into the eyes from below, despite his like bigness. He's expressing his he's sorry. I don't want to say that word because of the connotation, but like he feels there's some remorse that he feels about the lack of presence, and like I can tell in his face that he's like, I'm sorry for that. Like this, all I can do now is kind of like apologize and just let you know that I fully acknowledge all of the parts that I did and did not play in your life. And just assure you that as long as you're ready and willing to receive me, that I will always be there for you. That I'll never leave, never again. I see now. I see everything for what it is. I can see myself. I've watched myself over and over again. And when I feel into this, it's like kind of like reviewing his most recent life, kind of like looking at it over and over again, watching it intricately, like from both his perspective to his own eyes, and like seeing himself, but also like kind of like switching vantage points and seeing how his actions and non-actions rippled across into different people, and he's like studied that so intricately. So he has such a like a stark understanding of just exactly and precisely how what he did and didn't do. He keeps saying that it affected others, and in this context, you. And he recognizes that, and he really wants you to know that as long as he's kind of repeats the same thing, as long as you are willing to accept him into your current life and into everything or things that you're doing right now, he's right there at the ready. There's nothing that would keep him from that anymore. The only thing that he can do is honor you, honor your space and your boundaries, and not force himself on you.
Oh my God. Y'all, I'm crying here live, okay?
I'm sorry.
And no, it's okay. It's okay because yeah, thank you so much. It's interesting because I've been trying to connect with him more, and it's been difficult for me because I'm still navigating the abandonment that he left behind. And and it means a lot that he came through. So thank you.
Of course.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
It means a lot because um I do love him, and I did want a relationship with him, and when he died, I lost all hope. I did. So it means a lot. Thank you. And I love that he's coming through. Like, I feel like he wants to make sure that I know that he's here all the time. Like, he comes through so much. And I just want you to know that I see you, and I receive you, and I love you because I know you're hearing me. Oh my gosh.
The way I perceive him inwardly, yeah, like he's crying with you. Like
Oh
I'm
my
like
gosh.
I don't need to cry right now. Like this, like I don't need to, but like I can, yeah. I can feel it wanting to want him to push it through me. But he's the level of like warmth and gratitude I feel in my chest. I know is his. So I'll give you that, and I'll leave you with his love.
Thank you so much. And I'm so grateful. And I mean, thank you everyone for witnessing this. I wasn't even expecting him, like anyone. I wasn't even expecting a reading. Like, y'all know that I do this for you guys. And so it was so nice to receive today and to be held in the community with everyone, and to have my dad come through, almost feels like he's also supporting this, what I'm doing.
Absolutely. For him to come into this setting, like he has full support, even while you do this.
I feel that the fact that he came while we're doing this live, that means that he's supporting me. And that means the world to me. The world to me. Because I'm just going to share real quick. I've received some backlash from family members on my dad's side where they don't really agree with what I do with this work because they're very deeply Catholic. And so I was carrying a lot of weight around that. And, I'm just being honest. I'm just being like, raw and honest here. Yeah. So for him to come through now means so much. Like, this is like a big statement from my lineage on my dad's side. So you have no idea how healing this was right now that this happened today. So thank you, Maurice, for this.
Amazing. You're welcome.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
honored.
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Well, y'all, okay, this is how it is, right? Like, when we have lives, we don't know what's gonna come up, right? So I'm accepting this, and I'm like fully embracing this moment, and I'm fully grateful for all of you to witness this, and you can see firsthand how healing this is, right? Like, how healing it is to receive a mediumship, and how healing it is for you to do this for others too, if you decide to take that path. Like, how powerful it is to receive the messages from our loved ones and to feel that support from our loved ones, especially for people like me or other people who didn't get the closure And when they keep coming back to let us know that they're there for us, it's just so healing and so beautiful. Yes, generational healing for all. Absolutely. um Absolutely, Amy. And Gigi saying she's holding space. I love you, Gigi, my tia. So thank you so much, everyone. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that this happened. And I wouldn't have it any other way. And what a way to end the session.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm just gonna say,
Yeah.
wow. um you it's incredible. It's incredible that we did this, and I cannot thank you enough, Maurice, for sharing your wisdom, for just coming in and just being so kind with all of your knowledge, all of the wisdom that you've shared, and to really give us like these beautiful perspectives that come from the heart, and come from a beautiful neutral space. I admire the work that you do, and that's the reason why I love bringing you here. And I feel everyone here loves you too. So again, everyone, connect to Maurice. You already saw like firsthand how amazing this stuff is. And so if you've ever been wondering what a reading like this would do for you, well, now you know. So I'm just going to take a moment just to end it here. And if you want to add anything else, Maurice, before we go.
I feel like I've said this before in other places, but like just to kind of reiterate, like I'm not special, like I just practice a lot. Like everyone is gifted, I don't consider myself as like above anybody else or more advanced than anybody else. Like I see everyone, even people who are brand new to this stuff, as peers, because you all have it. We all have the same thing. We just have different levels of practice and like agreement with our egos. And that's
Mm.
really the only barrier. So I guess I just wanted to say that, like I'm not special. You're all special too. You can all do what I do and more.
Powerful. And yeah, so I hope that y'all feel empowered to do this. Imagine doing this for other people, maybe in practice, and being able to facilitate a healing like that for someone else. Like, wow, imagine that. And so yeah, so with that, I'm going to leave you with that. And I want to say, if you want to connect to Maurice, you already know his website, ancientmademodern.com. Or if you want a more immediate connection through his Instagram, you can go to his Instagram at ancient.made.modern,
I
and
follow you all back.
connect with him.
I'm
And
not. I don't care about that. I'll follow you all back if that's a concern with you.
yeah, exactly. He's gonna follow you back, yell back. And so anyway, so thank you so much, Maurice, again for everything. I appreciate you. And we're gonna end this here. Thank you everyone for being here, for supporting this, for supporting this channel. It really means a lot to me to do this. Like I really, my intention is to build community, but not only to build community, but to bring education and love and support in this way, and offer you in some shape or form something that you can take away and feel empowered. So thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
And we're going to end it. Namaste, everyone. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.